All right, we are back with part 3 of our series on how to make your life work, or why aren't you happy? Once again, this is the book you've been waiting for. Amazing little book that's changed my life, and I think it's going to change yours. So I couldn't think of a better way than just to read it because it's absolutely amazing. Simple little book from the early 1970s. Okay, this is part 3 of the series. We're probably halfway through this little book, so I'm just going to get right into it here. If you wish to involve yourself in trying to modify a situation purely from a non-addictive space, remember that you are doing it simply because this is your role in the game of life. Instead of spending the rest of your life fruitlessly trying to keep the word in line with your expectation and demands, simply modify your programming, and then, like magic, the world feels great. That's pretty good. Let me read that again. Instead of spending the rest of your life fruitlessly trying to keep the world in line with your expectations and demands, simply modify your programming, and then, like magic, the world feels great. Can it really be that simple? Well, when you try it, you will see for yourself. The past is non-existent, and the future is imaginary. You can only live now by being in the eternal now moment. If you're not making it in life right now, you probably won't be making it in 10 minutes from now or 1 day from now. People who postpone happiness are like children who tried chasing rainbows in an effort to find the pot of gold at the rainbow's end. It's always receding, and the faster they run, the more it eludes them. You got this great little illustration here. Today is perfect. It is a day which cannot be improved upon. Unless you are comparing it with the dead past or the imagined future, neither of which really exist now. And as long as you are continually unhappy with what is, solely because it is not like what isn't, you are going to make yourself miserable forever. You have got to enjoy being and stop worrying about becoming. Otherwise, there is absolutely no end. So we just need to be. Just be. I like what it says here. The past doesn't exist, it's dead, and the future is just imagined, neither of which really exist right now. Your life will never be fulfilled until you are happy here and now. Tomorrow always becomes today. If you are forever looking ahead into tomorrows when they become todays, you will still not enjoy them because you will be preoccupied with dreams about new tomorrows. Don't spend your life missing today, waiting for the day you can be happy. If you are not happy today, what dramatic difference will come with tomorrow, especially if the routine of your present life is precisely what produced the today you are not happy with? This is really important. This really, I think, is the main message here, is that tomorrow always becomes today. I mean, think about it. The only time there really is now. You will only ever experience the future now. It will always just be now. So like Eckhart Tolle said in his book, The Power of Now, now is where everything's at. It's always going to be now. Even if you're imagining something way off in the future, by the time the future arrives, it's going to be experienced in the now. So now is really all we have. It's the eternal moment. I mean, think about it. Vadim Zeland, who wrote Reality Transurfing, also wrote another book called Tufti the Priestess. And in that book, he asks a simple question: where did yesterday go, and where does tomorrow come from? Just think about that for a minute. There is only the now. So we can be happy now. And if we'll learn to do that, we will always be happy because there is only now. It's just about programming. We have got to program our mind to accept what is in the here and now. And then we'll see that at the highest level, yes, everything is perfect. Everything is just now. There's tremendous power in just being here now, as Ram Dass always said. All right, let's keep going. If your big, crushing bag of addictions and demands doesn't get smaller, your life will never work properly. When you realize that today is the tomorrow you hoped for yesterday, life will get better. So why waste it looking for new tomorrows? Enjoy it now because it's already yours. The cycle of unhappiness will continue unless you stop it today. So it's asking us a question here. When will you realize that today is the tomorrow you hoped for yesterday? Pretty profound questions in this little book. You've got this little illustration here. Whenever your mind is preoccupied with the rut of pasting or futuring, and your addictions are making you reject the here and now situation in your life, and you get uptight and start to worry, you are depriving yourself of energy. You waste your energy when you worry about the past or the future. Wanting and rejecting wears you out all the time. You also deprive yourself of insight. When you are preoccupied with the past or future and you feel anxious or depressed, you may be sure that your insight is at its lowest point. The actions or non-actions that can create the optimal response to your problem will only occur to you when you are cooled out and can see the entire situation with perspective. When you are upset, all you see with any central awareness is what you fear or what you desire. You also deprive yourself of love. When you are caught up in the grip of anger, jealousy, apprehension, or resentment, you are probably throwing someone out of your heart or making yourself feel alienated from people around you. You are most likely turning off the very people that may be most helpful to you. So this is really important. If our mind is preoccupied with constantly thinking about the past, maybe mistakes we've made, things we wish hadn't happened, we're just still giving life to the past. We're in essence living in the past, and we're not now. Because the past doesn't exist in the now, and neither does the future. So if we're worried about the past, or we're worried about something in the future, we are robbing ourselves of energy, of insight, and love. And those are the three things we need to enjoy the now. So we only need to be, concerned, I was going to say, but that's not even the right word. We just need, once again, like Ram Dass said, maybe the most profound spiritual words ever spoken: be here now. An individual who uses his higher consciousness clearly sees how addictions create the experience of suffering and alienation. The rest of us continue to wallow in self-generated and self-maintained misery. We think the people around us are causing us to be unhappy, and we decide that the world around us is pretty rotten. When we respond to the people and situations in our lives in a critical, negative, non-loving way, we tend to attract and create even more of what we don't want. This makes us even more uptight, and now we are really sure that the world is at fault. We then continue spiraling downward to create tons of suffering and unhappiness in our lives. See, that's the thing. When we resist what is here and now, whatever our current situation is, if we're constantly fighting against that and resisting it and not accepting it, we are actually creating more of what we don't want, because like attracts like. And if you are constantly thinking about how you wish your current situation could change, if you're just focused on the negative things, it's actually attracting more of those into your present moment. And nobody wants that. Nobody. I mean, honestly, it's funny how it works. We think that we should reject and resist the things that are here and now, but by doing so, we're actually just creating more stuff that we want to resist. So once again, learn to enjoy where you are now. It's all part of your spiritual journey. Where you are right now is exactly where you are supposed to be, even though if it doesn't seem like it to you, to your ego self, to your lower self, whatever you want to call it. This is all part of the plan. Where you are right now is a major step in where you're going to be. It's important that we accept and realize that it's all good right here and now. Okay, when you begin to generate happiness in your life, you free yourself from all addictive traps. So now you have to make a decision. Do you want to live the rest of your life with a brain that is full of malignant cancers called addictions, emotion-backed demands, expectations, and ideas of how the world should be, models of how people should treat you, etc., etc., etc.? Remember, you put this addictive programming into your head. Most of your security, sensation, and power addictions were programmed by you during the first few years of your life, when your biocomputer was immature and you were completely at the mercy of outside influences. What you experienced and programmed then still controls your reactions to the world today. Think about that one. When our biocomputer, the author calls it, in our head, it was being programmed when we were younger by the stuff that was going on around us. We learned to see the world and installed this programming of what we thought the world was when we were younger. And we might not even be aware that that was happening, but it was. So now that we're older, we're more spiritually mature, we need to change that program. All right. You are not your programming, just as a computer is not its programming. When you change the programming, the computer remains the same, but it operates differently. So dump your addictions. All addictive programming prevents you from living the happiest, most effective life possible. You got this little illustration here. That's what our old ways of thinking, false beliefs, ideas about the world that aren't serving us, it's just like dragging this heavy weight around. You were born with almost no programming, just a few simple survival programs. Food, air, and protection from the weather are needed to survive. If you are not involved in meeting needs concerned with immediate survival, and you find that you are uptight about something, you are suffering from the disease of demanding. Why should you be addicted to something which is not needed for survival? All other emotion-backed demands are sickness. Pretty sick world, isn't it? And they've got that in bold letters there. All other emotion-backed demands are sickness. Some of us are learning to free ourselves from this jail that is created by our programming and perpetuated by the involvement of our egos and rational minds. Are you ready for the jailbreak? Are you strong enough for the dash to freedom? Until you realize that you have nothing to lose but your unhappiness, you won't be able to break free from the tyranny of your addictive programming. You'll just keep churning with feelings that make you reject what is here and now in your life. You must realize that you can never make it in life by controlling others. It's 1,000 times more practical to be in control of yourself. Controlling yourself really works if you have the guts to do it. So we're going to stop right there for today. We've just got a little bit left. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're getting as much value out of this as I have. It's an amazing little life-changing book here. So let's just think about that. Controlling yourself really works if you have the guts to do it. Let's just control the program. Let's install something new that allows us to be happy right here and now. I'll see you in the next video.